class, we want to look at reasons why the government established imidugudu settlements in Rwanda. Then after, we look at advantages of imidugudu settlements. Then after, we look at disadvantages of imidugudu settlements. Why do you think the government planned to have people staying in imidugudu? Number one, to improve living standards of the people. When people get services together in one area like water, electricity, and schools, their standards of living improve faster than when these people were scattered. Next, to promote peace and unity among the Rwandese. You know, most of the Rwandese came back from other countries outside Rwanda, and for them to have peace and unity and know each other faster, the government planned to settle them in imidugudu, such that the neighbor can easily know her or his neighbor. Then, to utilize the natural resources around the country. For example, forests, water, and land. For these people, when they come and settle in one area, the resources which they would have maybe misused remain isolated, and the government exploits them better than when these people would misuse them. Then we have to provide better social services to citizens like water, hospitals or medical care, electricity, education by putting schools in these imidugudu, etc. Next, to provide general education and other social services. Some points may look the same. You may combine them or leave them the way they are. To implement the government's policies and programs. For example, Muganda, one cow per family, etc. So when the government has its people in one area, in a imidugudu settlement, it becomes easier for it to implement its policies. If people are to go for Muganda, they are informed in the same place, they work in the same place, so you find it is easier. If the government, for example, is carrying out population census, it finds people in one area. To settle thousands of refugees, this is a big point. Some refugees had come back, some Rwandans had taken a refugee in outside countries. So when they came back, they were to be resettled in imidugudu. Because of the 1994 genocide, most of the Rwandese left Rwanda, and after they came back, and when they came back, it becomes easier for the government to resettle them using imidugudu. Next, to find land for landless people, especially those refugees we are talking about who came back, who were refugees in outside countries. When they came back, some of them were landless, and therefore the government said, let us put people in one settlement. We reserve enough land, and this enough land is shared, and those who are landless also get some piece of land. Then, what is the importance of imidugudu settlements in Rwanda? Importance. I think some of the importances are similar to the reasons why the government established or thought about this imidugudu. The imidugudu helped in resettling refugees. The imidugudu helped in provision of better housing for the low-income earners. those who could not earn enough money to allow them afford houses, the Midugudu program helped them. Is a provision of better social services. We talked about this. Promotion of peace and security. It supported the land reform program. Then disadvantages. Midugudu settlements are good and the government did good to plan for the Midugudu, but somewhere they are associated with some disadvantages. One, lack of privacy because of closeness of houses, improper disposal of garbage, and this brings poor sanitation because there is no enough space for garbage disposal, spread of diseases because poor sanitation is associated with a spread of diseases due to congestion, lack of room for expansion because the space is limited, conflicts and social misunderstandings. People conflict because they came from different backgrounds. It may take them time to get united and know each other and adhere to what their friends, how their friends behave towards them. Then we have suitable for some practices. There are practices you cannot carry out when you stay in Midugudu. For example, pastoralism. You cannot do pastoralism in Midugudu. Instead, you can practice zero grazing, but pastoralism, keeping large herds of animals, moving from place to place, looking for water and pastures, that is impossible in Midugudu settlements. Moral decay, because of influx of returning refugees who had stayed in different places with different social backgrounds. So they brought home different cultures, some of which were not acceptable. And even in this Midugudu, you find trade and business, congested houses, prostitution, drug abuse. That is also part of moral decay or immorality. Then we have neglection of the young during allocation of land. Young people were neglected, and I think after growing, they also felt cheated. I think to be given a house in a Midugudu, one is supposed to be an adult, not young. And this leaves out young people, forgetting that they are also growing. Incompetent houses, semi-permanent, poor houses. Most of the Midugudu houses were not fully constructed. The people who live in the houses are poor and cannot afford to do finishing on their own. So some houses may even collapse on them. Thank you.